The following clip comes from our Dino Hunter series. Check out the full program using the provided links.
Because of the assumed age of the bones, finding soft dinosaur tissue wasn't considered worthy of study. Then, almost by accident, a paleontologist soaked a T-Rex bone in a solution to dissolve the petrified bone. And what was left shook the world. In 1991, Mary Schweitzer was studying thin slices of bone from a T-Rex. She presented her slides to a colleague who identified some of the materials as red blood cells. Not wanting to jump to any conclusions, she called them red blood cell-like microstructures. As a scientist, she was motivated to study the subject further. At first, it was hard to believe. Because of what is known about the decomposition of dinosaur soft tissue, it just can't last up to 65 million years. She began to wonder about how soft tissue could be preserved over millions of years. She was still thinking in terms of an evolutionary worldview, long periods of time. She never considered a biblical worldview of a few thousand years. It's just not seen as a viable option by most in the scientific community. Then in 2000, a very large T-Rex was being unearthed in the Hell Creek Formation.
And apparently, as they jacketed the bones, which is what they do in paleontology, you wrap the bones and put plaster of Paris around them and then roll them over and completely jacket them for removal. Well, apparently the femur that they found, the long bone, was too heavy to be helicoptered out. And so they decided to fracture it at the site. And apparently some of the pieces Mary just sort of UPS'd to her lab in North Carolina and others to other labs. She immediately decalcified the bones before she started working with them. Now, that's not a technique that is usually employed by strict paleontologists, but she put them through this decalcification process, which actually removes away the bone minerals. So the magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, stuff like that gets etched away by the acid, and what you're left with is any materials that might be inside that are not bone mineral. Well, in the case of the bone that she found, the T-Rex bone, there were soft vessels, blood vessels, laying in the containers after the bone was fully decalcified. So they repeated it, and over again, they came up with the same result, soft tissue. So she published this in Science. She had multiple papers published. She went out looking for other dinosaur taxa, other genera, species, and repeated it and found soft tissue over and over again. And so this was in the literature now for a period of 3 or 4 years in major journals like Science.
This is not a process that paleontologists normally use, because they could not believe that dinosaur soft tissue would exist in a 65 million year old bone. The scientific community went wild with this new discovery, and a huge controversy arose. Some doubted it was even dinosaur tissue, but was instead a type of film made by microbes that had contaminated the specimen after it was buried.
One of the big counter-arguments, answers to her work, was these are in fact biofilms. A biofilm is actually sort of a sticky, gelatinous residue that's left over after microbes, whether those are bacteria or fungi or other organisms, go in and decompose the soft tissue that's in the bone. Now, the contention was that this biofilm actually replicated the structures that were being eaten by these microorganisms. That takes this ooze that they're spitting out after they're eating the nutrients, and that ooze goes in and somehow replicates what they just ate. That's not possible, but that was the big argument.
Then in 2005, other T-Rex soft tissue was found and compared to the first sample. They matched. Mary and others were perplexed because no known mechanism can preserve soft, stretchy tissue for millions of years. When news came out about the soft tissue, those who hold to a young Earth belief, as presented in the Bible, felt like the soft tissue was an incredible find to support their worldview.
Thanks for watching our content. Awesome Science Media has produced over 50 hours of great kids programs and documentaries on science from a biblical worldview. Want to see it all? The two best ways are streaming it on our Patreon channel or purchasing it for download on our online store. Check out the links below. Get access to our full kids programs and documentaries by supporting our Awesome Science Media page on Patreon. Get behind-the-scenes segments, photos, and bonus interviews. There are also complete curriculum guides, teacher guides, student guides, and discussion tools. There are fun extras like coloring pages, word finds, and activity sheets. Plus supporter-only updates, live hangouts, podcasts, and blogs. Sign up for free to get our updates or cancel at any time with any of our monthly paid plans. Don't want to subscribe? Have it your way. You can just purchase our content and teaching materials. Every option supports us to reach even more families worldwide with faith-building science content. Sign up today at patreon.com/awesome science media. Or buy our content and download it from our online store at awesomescienceshop.com. You can purchase individual programs or save money and buy the entire series. Each title comes with a download link for your local device, plus a streaming link if you want to use that instead. Our online store also includes teacher resources, merchandise, and additional resources such as books and guides. Check us out today at awesomescienceshop.com. See the link below to access our full episodes.